and 12/100 plus -1 and 5/100. Is my answer going to be positive or negative? Why? Why would my answer be negative?
Because you're only adding negative numbers.
I'm only adding negative numbers. I have negatives and then I'm adding more negatives to it. Are there going to be any zero pairs here? Anything that cancels out? No. No zero pairs. Nothing cancels out. I have just negatives. How can I represent -1 and 12/100? How can I represent -1 and 12/100?
Okay. You could.
Okay, so if I put 12 of these, and this is where it's not going to work out. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on.
It's all right. Hang
1,
on there.
2, 3,
Hang in
4,
there.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Okay, hold your water. Hold your water.
12.
Just see how this goes.
Now, is this a representation of 12/100? Yes, I have 12/100. I absolutely do. Could I combine these to make it, to represent it a different way?
Yeah.
No, go ahead and talk. Okay, how many? Good. So I can take 10 of my hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 of my hundredths and trade that in for what? 1/10. Good. Now, have I changed the value at all? No, it's the same thing. It's still the same thing. All right, how can I represent -1 and 5/100? How can I represent -1 and 5/100? Garrett, look alive.
1, 1, and 5.
Good. And 5/100. Go over. There you go over.
Just a second. There you go.
So now I have -1 and 12/100 plus -1 and 5/100. How many ones do I have altogether? 2. How many tenths do I have? 1. And how many hundredths do I have? I have 7 hundredths. Okay. And all of them are red, so this whole number is what? Negative. -2 and 17 hundredths. So I'm going to remove these so that we can draw our model. So I'm going to write 1 big square, 1 rectangle, and 2 small squares. And I'm going to color all of those red.
Here's the Russell Utopian show.
I'm horrible.
She's attending to precision, though.
Alright, so I had negatives. I'm adding more negatives to it, so I'm going to have more negatives. If I wanted to show this without my algebra tiles, how would I line up my numbers? If I wanted to show this without algebra tiles.
The -1 and 12 would be over.
So I would line up 1 and 12 hundredths. And am I adding or subtracting? I'm adding. You'll understand why I asked that question in a second. Okay. Now, I have rewritten this without my negative signs, which means what am I adding? If I don't have the negative signs and I'm saying negative 1 and 1200ths, I'm going to write as a positive 1 and 1200ths. What am I doing? Jack, throw the ball for me. Okay, but I can't just change a number from a positive to a negative, but I did. How can I do that? How can I do that? Why is that okay?
Isn't it like multiplying by 0? Well, it's the opposite. I forget what it's called, but when you.
Can I give you a hint? I'm trying to see how far away from 0 I am.
No, not the absolute value.
No, the absolute value. So
Additive and
Yeah,
inverse.
don't second guess.
Nope. Whenever I have the same signs, you're really adding their absolute values. I'm adding their absolute values. And then if the regular numbers are positive, my answer is going to be positive. And if in my problem my regular numbers were negative, my answer is going to be negative. Right? So I can line these up and then add them and get the same answer that we got above. Now when I add the absolute values, my answer is always going to be positive, and you have to go back and realize if it's going to be negative or positive. -2 and 1700.